meditate, as we try to understand the nature of bodily feelings and the mental feelings, and as we give the instruction not to get stuck with the bodily feelings, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, not to get stuck with the mental feelings, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. These are basic instructions, but they have a deeper significance, deeper value in our spiritual practice. This is where it begins. Not to get stuck where the liking arises, not to get stuck where the disliking arises. This is the, what we call the middle path. Path to liberation, path to freedom. What people do when we like something, we very badly want that, get stuck there, our mind is obsessed with like. But we don't like, our mind is obsessed with dislike. So then our mind doesn't get the opportunity to open up to wisdom. Our mind does not get the opportunity to open up to wisdom, I say. It's because we keep the mind busy in wrong ways. We keep the mind busy through the liking and through the dislike. So there is no chance mind will ever know the right thing, what is real, what is not. It will not know. So how does it know? There's a certain way to discover. That is the, Lord Buddha said, Eightfold path. Path consisting of 8 factors. These 8 factors, 8 things, 8 things when you practice simultaneously, when you develop simultaneously, then automatically mind becomes mature. It becomes sharp enough to understand. If you have a knife, which is blunt, which is not sharp, then whatever you want to cut with that knife, you can't cut easily. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and even then, it doesn't cut properly. So, our mind, without the training of this Eightfold Path, is like this. It's a blunt knife. It has no ability to cut through the ignorance. It doesn't cut the ignorance, cannot destroy the ignorance, cannot understand things correctly. This mind is deluded, so to speak. So when you practice, as I said, 8 things, starting with what? Starting with the right understanding. These 8 things, samadhi. Starting with the right understanding. Well, what is the basis of right understanding? When we say we understand things rightly, when we say we understand things rightly, we perceive things rightly, where does it begin? When we acknowledge the good actions as good actions, when we acknowledge the bad actions as bad actions, anything that is rooted in greed, anything that is connected with greed, anything that is connected with hatred, disliking, anything that is connected with not knowing, this is wrong understanding. This is part of extension of wrong understanding. So what do we do? When we do these things, out of greed, out of hatred, out of ignorance, they produce results. What kind of results? Unpleasant results. Results that are not good, that are not pleasant, that are not desirable. That's the kind of result it produces. Anything. Whatever is done with the greed, whatever is done with the hatred, whatever is done with the ignorance. Take an example. Somebody has a lot of money. Please don't keep your legs stretched like this. Go to the shrine. So somebody has a lot of money. But then this person who has a lot of money doesn't want to share his money with anyone. He has a lot of money, but he is a very stingy person. So what happens? Whatever money he has, he is not able to enjoy himself properly. He is not sharing with his family members, relatives, friends, anyone. He is not giving dana to anyone. And then all the time what he is thinking, how do I save my money? How do I save my money? I don't want it to spend. I don't want anything to be spent. Things like this all the time. Lives like this all the time, then he dies. Everyone dies, he also dies. No big deal. After dying, can't carry all, nothing. He can't carry anything. But he can carry something, for sure. What? His unwholesome mental state, that greed, that excessive possessiveness, that leads him to be born as in a lower destination. So by not sharing, by being stingy, by being greedy, doesn't live here happily. After death also when he goes to a lower destination. That happens to all the stingy people in the world. Nave kadariyam deva lokam vajanti. Lord Buddha says, there is no chance anyone stingy will ever go to heavenly realms. It is impossible. Stingy people never go to higher realms. Never ever. It's not what I say, it's what Lord Buddha says. So this is what happens when people act with greed. People act with hatred, just opposite of it. So the results are not good. Unwholesome, unpleasant. But then people act with non-greed, generosity, non-hatred, loving kindness, compassion, helpfulness, and wisdom. Then whatever they do with these connections, that will produce pleasant results. So this is where the right understanding begins. Acknowledging the wholesome action as wholesome, good actions as good, bad actions as bad. This is where it begins. Acknowledging this good is good, bad is bad, simple. This is where it begins. Then it goes to higher levels, of course. This right understanding doesn't stop there. It has much more higher levels, many more higher levels. But this is where you must start somewhere. No, this is the beginning. Then, right intention. Intention nekama. Nekama is renunciation, letting go, not being possessive, not being greedy obsessively. As you earn money, you have to save your money also in a reasonable way. It is good. If people earn money, then they must save some of their money for future times. It is important. But then when people become obsessed, then it's a problem. Or you're not just the money, anything, whether it is your house, whether it is your relationship, whether it is your job, anything that you become obsessed with. You are not able to let go things, even the smallest of things. Then it becomes, that is not the right intention because it brings heaviness and suffering. So intention to loosen up our possessiveness or attachments. Try to let go. intention to be having a mind of kindness and compassion. May all people be happy. May nobody has any harm or suffering. Having a mind like this. And if possible, I will try to help people, having a mind of compassion, compassionate attitude towards others. If possible, I will help. Not just thinking that may they be happy, but when if it is possible, also trying to help. Not necessary that all the time you will be able to go big help, but even small help. So it's good. So that mind of letting go, mind of goodwill, and mind of helpful, compassionate nature. This is the right intention. When you have this kind of intention, this is the right intention. Then samma vacha, right speech. So when we speak truthfully, not misrepresenting, not lying. We speak not just truthfully, we don't talk behind people's back, or we don't talk in such a manner which creates enmity between people, enmity between people, animosity between people. We talk in a way that it doesn't create any fight, it doesn't create any trouble between one group and another group, one person, another person. We don't talk like this. We talk in a way which can bring people together or help them or allow them to be good to each other in such a way. And we also speak in a way which is gentle, not abusive, not abusing. And also we talk about things which are useful. For example, if the students are there, they should talk about their studies or how to improve their studies. If there are people who are working, they should talk or think about how to improve their professional skills or other skills in their workplace or in their job or in their business or whatever. This is at an average level. This is at a worldly average level. And also alongside that, which is not basically loose talk, idle talk, gossiping. And alongside that, also talking things which are good for our spiritual progress. Talking or discussing things which are good for our mind. So if we are just gossiping about peoples and places and politicians or heroes or heroines or just random things which produces a lot more worldly cravings or worldly thoughts or worldly intentions, then those are not the right kind of speech, because they tend to pollute our minds. Ultimately, it's like in your mind, if you keep a lot, you have everyone, I guess everybody's house has some trash cans, trash bins. So you put the trash there, and then at every day or alternate day, you take out the trash, give it to the corporation people, or put it in that big dustbin on the board like this. But what happens if you don't clean it, but you just keep on putting garbage in that? It piles on, and then it starts coming out. That's the kind. So when we are talking, speech is also not just speech. It's connected with our mind. What we think, what we intend to do, they are all connected with our mind. So if our speech is a lot of useless or worldly intentions and talks and cravings, our mind will also have those worldly intentions. That mind isn't really good. That mind is disturbed. That mind is bad. So we speak in such a way not to engage in too much of useless worldly gossip. So these are the right kind of speech: truthfulness, amicable speech, and speech which brings concord, which brings friendship between people, doesn't create hatred or doesn't create factionalism or doesn't create groupism or anything. And then avoiding the idle gossip. Then Samma Kammanta, right physical action. What are the right physical actions? When we don't harm any living being. So that is one. When we don't take other people's properties or possessions or anything in a wrong manner. If anyone gives you a gift, you take it. If anyone gives you something, you take it, no problem. Voluntarily gift, you take. But then don't take it in a wrong way. Either by stealing, or by cheating, or by deceiving, or any kind of wrong means. So not taking others' things in a wrong manner. Not taking anything which is not given to us. And living with a mind of, living with harmlessness, not harmfulness, not physically harming or being violent to living beings. Then the third one, being truthful in one's relationship, especially with relationship with regard to the between husband and wife, or any kind of misconduct within one's relationship. Avoiding any kind of misconduct, wrong conduct, which is not right. So, avoiding killing and harming, avoiding stealing and deceiving, avoiding sexual misconduct. This is the right action. Then right speech, the right profession, right livelihood. What are the right, anything that is not harmful. Anything that is not harmful to other people. So people sell weapons, and then some other people buy those weapons, and then they fight with each other and kill each other. We can't call that a right profession because it's directly harmful. People who sell poisons, for example, people who sell drugs. It's illegal, but at the same point of time, it's a wrong profession. Drug people. Or even selling alcohol, because people get, you see, so many people get addicted to alcohol and commit so many wrongs. So many. Not one, not two, so many. So people who are selling or in the business of selling alcohols and drugs and weapons, or for example, selling animals for slaughtering, all such things, which are directly harmful to living beings, basically. Anything that is directly harmful, any living being, whether human being or any other. So that is right profession. For example, now people, you go to a shop, now say, if there is sometimes some shopkeepers do like this. The government announces from so and so date the price of say something, oil or something will go up. Okay. Some commodity will go up. They will raise the price. But even before that date comes, even after say 2 days, 2 days, 5 days, 1 week before, only they will start selling it at a. It happens to some sellers, business people, shopkeepers. They do like. They say no, price has come. They give all kinds of excuses. Basically, it's not so. They can still sell it at a previous rate. So they are trying to earn money by, in a way, extorting undue, unjust profits from the customer. This is also wrong profession. You must earn profit. When you start a business, you have to now earn profits. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with earning profits. But then when you wrongly deceive or sometimes some people do like this, inferior quality product, they say this is good quality product. And they say. So you are cheating the customer. That's all, and you are earning money through that. So that's the wrong profession. I'm just giving an example. So like this, anything that way to directly, indirectly harming others, cheating others through your profession, that's a wrong profession. But you are just, whether you're doing a job, running a business, it's perfectly fine. As long as you do it within the reasonable limits, it's perfectly fine. You run a business, you earn the profits, it's perfectly fine. But when you earn the profits by cheating the people, that's not. So you have to see see the situation according to the situation. Then right effort. We have discussed about the right effort in some earlier discourses. Abandoning, restraining and abandoning any kind of unwholesome thoughts and unwholesome feelings we have in the mind. That is not good. That is connected with greed, hatred, ignorance. That is connected with harmfulness. That is connected with any wrong conduct, misconduct. We try to let them go. We don't encourage our mind to have such thoughts. We let them go. We put them down. Not to. So restraining and abandoning any kind of unwholesome and developing and protecting anything that good you have in your mind. You want to help people. You have a helping nature, compassionate nature, kind nature. You do it not just one time. One time, two times is just developing. And then you protect it, do it again and again. You are a generous person. You give, you share your wealth or time or effort or other resources with other people. You do it again and again. So anything good that you do, you must do it again. Anything that bad that you can do, you must stop and let go. It's very simple language. Then, right mindfulness, the seventh one. My awareness, for example, we are observing the breath, understanding the breath, in breath and out. When you understand the in breath, out breath, you understand a part of our body, how the body, this breath goes in. It's part of bodily process. We understand body. And also, sometimes mind goes here and there, we part some functions of our mind. So knowing the body, knowing the feelings that arises within the body, and also in the mind, knowing the mental process, thought process, knowing various mental functionalities. What are some of them are good, some of them are not good, some of them may be neutral, some of them are leading to our spiritual development, leading towards enlightenment, some of them may be responsible for our downgrading of our mind. I said downgrading of our mind and upgrading of our mind. You say, you must have heard, no? Downgrading and upgrading. First of all, people to realize I have a mind and it thinks like this and it does like this and it changes like this. And then Lord Buddha didn't stop there. He said, there is upgradation of it and then there is downgradation of it as well. From time to time, all the time it's happening since we don't know. Since we do not have enough mindfulness and wisdom, we don't know the upgradation of the mind, we don't know the downgradation. But that's the practice. That's mindfulness. Knowing it correctly. And when we know this, as I was telling earlier during the time of our meditation, not observing, so whatever pleasant, we don't like, try to like. This one pleasant I like, this one unpleasant I don't like. Not like this. Not like this. When we observe without any kind of liking or disliking, just knowing the phenomena as it is and letting them go, letting things go. So that's about the right mindfulness. And then the eighth factor, right, meditative practice. So when we practice meditation sincerely, then our mind gains peacefulness and calmness and peacefulness, and then it grows. Then it's peacefulness and calmness and one-pointedness. It strengthens, it grows and becomes very powerful. When it is very powerful, then we can understand the things, even the subtlest of things in a flash. We understand how the suffering arises, how the mind reacts, how we can get rid of it, how the mind will not react, all these things. But that takes practice, that takes consistent meditation practice. It's not something that you hear this and you will be able to achieve. It's not like that. So these 8 factors, right understanding and right intention and right speech and right actions, physical actions and right livelihood, right profession, right effort, and right mindfulness, and right meditative absorption. So these 8 factors, when you practice them simultaneously, develop them. In short, if we summarize these 8 factors, then there are these 3 primary things. Right physical and verbal conduct, which we say right morality, sila, right morality, and then samadhi, right meditative practice, through this right mindfulness and right meditative absorption, honesty, and right effort, right mental development, and then finally wisdom, right liberating wisdom, anya. In Pali we call anya, wisdom, pragya. So this morality, meditation, and wisdom. These 3 things, to summarize these 8 things, you get these 3 things. Good conduct, physical conduct, verbal conduct, good mental development, mental conduct, and by the process of this good verbal and physical conduct and good mental conduct, you develop your meditative powers, and by developing those meditative powers, you develop wisdom, right understanding, knowing things clearly as they really are, not having confusion. What is good, you know. What is bad, you know. Where the suffering arises, you know. Where the suffering ends, you know. How it arises, you know. How it ends, you know. This is the right, this is the wisdom. So that's very briefly, I said. Very briefly, the Eightfold factors. Of course, you can, there are enough materials available, authentic materials available everywhere, and the books and the resources, and so you can read these things again. I would suggest you read these things again and again, and get a grasp over these things. And of course, nowadays, whatever discourses we give, it's always there online, so you can always go back and listen. Because these 8 factors, these are, as you see, as our body reactions are purified, and our speech is purified, and our mind is purified, then automatically our wisdom is purified. When our wisdom is purified, that's where we say enlightenment appears, liberation appears. So anyone who seeks happiness at this moment, and not just at this moment, also wishes to get rid of all suffering for all times. All suffering for all times. That is the Nibbana, that is the liberation. Then they will sincerely follow these 8-fold paths, 8 factors. They'll put them into practice in their daily lives, and gain. Surely they will gain from it. With this, we'll conclude today's discourse here. Wish that whatever you have heard and whatever you have understood, and by your practice, may you understand better, and may you keep progressing on the right path, path of Dhamma, and may all of you finally, at one point of time, attain to the supreme peace of the path. We conclude with the chanting of love. Sukhi bhaveyam nidukto aham nicham aham viham ita me sukhi hanto majjata tacha verino imani gamma kettam he satta hanto sukhi sada tato parancha rajyesu chakkavale sujantano sadhu sadhu. And another small announcement we have, that is on next Sunday, that is on 13th of March, we'll have a consecration ceremony of our under construction building for our monks' residence that we are building. It is almost coming to the finishing stages. From Bangalore and other places are all coming. So 13th morning, 9:30 onwards, we'll have the special consecration ceremony and discourse and all the Dhamma programs. So I request all of you to come, and all of you can soft no hard copies, only soft copies there. So you may get it from the office, and if you wish to distribute it to other people, you can get from the office, distribute and share with others. So next Sunday, 9:30 from morning, Sunday. And evening, as usual, there will be